Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Color with Donna. Today I have a review of Radu Fraise, and I'm sure that's not how you pronounce the last name. I need to get with Radu and have him give me, if he can, the way to actually pronounce the name so I make sure I don't mess it up in the future. But I have his new book, Draw and Color Relaxing Flowers. He sent this to me to take a look at. He does have one newer book that just recently hit Amazon, I believe yesterday. So I think that is an alphabet flower book. It's really nice also, but we're going to take a look at Draw and Color Relaxing Flowers today. 50 different illustrations. It's a little different of a coloring book than what we are probably more used to. In this book, instead of having solid bold lines, they are very lightly drawn. And the purpose of this, and some of the lines are even broken, and the purpose of this is so you can kind of trace or draw yourself if you choose to do that, to darken those lines up and then color. So you kind of get the opportunity to color and draw along with Radu. So in my opinion, it's a good way to maybe collaborate with the actual illustrator, which is kind of neat. Or what you can do also, instead of tracing and drawing out those lines, is you could just color it the way it is with the lines very, very faint. And then it will kind of give an effect of a coloring that doesn't have the lines, which could be very pretty in its own right also. Now, I will say this, and this is just me, this is just a personal thing, but it may be a deal breaker, maybe a little for some of you. So I do want to point this out. These lines are very faint. So if you have a lot of eyesight problems, it may cause some difficulties in working with the book. I have an astigmatism in one eye, which causes things to get a little blurry. And I think it would be difficult for me to work a lot in this book. I would have to do it a little at a time. You guys have seen me sit down and just pop out picture after picture after picture after picture before. I could not do that with this book. I would have to take it in little small increments. But we're going to take a look at the book, and I think it's a cute little book. It's the smaller square books, not your larger books. This is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, which is what most of our standard coloring books are. So as you can see, it is the smaller square book. I like this size book, especially for travel. If there's doctor's appointments or road travel trips or anything like that you want to take coloring books on, I think that these size books are perfect for that. You have 50 different illustrations in the book. These are printed on Amazon paper, so the paper is a little thinner. It is pretty toothy. So, be aware of that if that's an issue, but it would be very easy to make copies of these if you have a printer, so you could print them out on anything that you wanted to print them on. You have your test your color page, which I love it when our artists put these type of pages in the books, so we can kind of see how colors are going to look on the paper, or how a different medium, whether it be pencils, markers, whatever, is going to react on the paper. I think that's a really neat thing. You have instructions on how to use the books. It explains that there's two main ways to use this type of coloring book, and this is kind of what we just talked about. You can draw in color. It says the illustrations are printed with thin dashed lines. Draw the contour of the illustration over the printed lines. You can use a drawing pencil or the black pencil from your colored pencil sets. After you draw the contour, you can color the illustration the same way as usual in an adult coloring book. Or two, you can color the illustrations directly as they are without drawing their contour. You'll attain an artwork without contour lines. The illustration lines are printed in such a way to allow you to see them if you want to draw the contour, but they're barely visible if you color in the illustrations without drawing the contour lines. So that's pretty neat. He gives some drawing tips. Excuse me. He just explains that it doesn't matter how good you are at drawing, that the book's for everyone. It gives a little bit of information on that. It gives a couple tips. Use a drawing pencil with a soft writing core. This was kind of neat information for me because this is something I didn't know. It says that it's much easier to draw with a soft writing core pencil. Your lines will be smoother. Also, a soft drawing pencil will leave darker and thicker lines on the paper. And this is neat. I didn't know how to classify these pencils. It says to classify the pencil's graphite core hardness, most manufacturers use the HB graphite grading scale. And it says figure 1. I think that's going to be maybe on the other side of the paper. But it says where the higher the H mark, the hardest the pencil core. And the higher the B mark, the softer the pencil core. The 4B, 5B, 6B pencils are great for this book, but you can also try other types of pencils and see which results work best for you. So it shows higher writing core, softer writing core, and it just kind of shows the graphite grading scale. I did not know that. That was news for me. He also says to use multiple strokes that are shorter, that he explains that it's kind of harder if you draw longer strokes, that it's easier if you just do short little strokes. And then he says that you should start from the top layer, meaning if you have like sets of flowers, that you would take like the flower that's closest to the top and you would do that one first. He explains that and then goes into the book. Now, I don't know if you guys can even see these lines. I'm going to be so I don't know. I wasn't sure how this was going to work with my camera, so I figured the best thing I could do was just go with it. I'm going to try. You may not, I think you can see the lines better now with it zoomed in. It'll give you an idea of how thin these lines are, and that's why I said I personally think I would have a very hard time with my eyes working a lot within this book. And I'm sorry if we can't get, if you don't have the full image, I really apologize, but zoomed in like this is the best way I think you guys are going to be able to get an idea on the book. But we'll do a quick flip through of the pages on the books. They're all flowers, sketched out very lightly. You do have some solid lines there, and then you have your broken lines that you can trace over or just color the images without tracing over the lines. And I do think this is a really neat concept in a book. I just think that I would have a hard time working a lot with the book because of the astigmatism in my eye. Sorry if I shook the camera a little. I didn't mean to. I know it's been a minute since I've made videos, so I apologize for that. Hopefully in the future, I'll be able to start making videos a lot more frequently. That is my plan. And maybe it took Radu coming up and saying, hey, can you make this video for me? And I appreciate that. I needed that little push to get me back on camera. But things hopefully will start looking a little better. For those of you who have been members of or subscribers of the channel for a while, you know that Bradley hadn't been feeling really good. He did cross over the Rainbow Bridge the first week of June. That was very, very tough for me. They finally diagnosed the problems that he was having. He had 5 large cancerous tumors in his chest, and they were in the chest cavity, not in the lungs, but in the cavity. They were putting pressure, I believe, on the lungs, and I think more than anything, him not wanting to step over things, it was making more pressure go on the lungs and making it difficult for him to breathe. And finally, I took him to the vet in the first week of June because it had gotten so bad, and I thought it was in the back, you know, that's what I told you guys, and they did an x-ray of the back to see if there was anything that could be done, and that's when they found the cancer, and we chose to go ahead and let him cross the bridge without having to suffer anymore, and that was really tough. Gary did get me a little Chiweenie puppy not long after, and his name is Riley, and a Chiweenie, for those of you that don't know, is a Chihuahua Dachshund mix. He has my Riley has a long body, kind of like a Dachshund, but he has longer legs like the Chihuahua. His face, in my opinion, is more Dachshund than it is Chihuahua. He's definitely got the Dachshund eyes. He's a cute little booger, and I'm sure you guys will get to see him in the future, but he's my newest little baby. Okay, and that's all the images from the book. I hope you guys were able to see those somewhat. And here's the back of the book. again, it gives you a little rundown of what you'll find inside of this book. Oh, and that is so blurry. Look at that. There we go. Okay. Sorry, I had to get a drink of my coffee. All right, I'm going to start a picture in this because, I mean, this is kind of neat for me, so I just kind of want to see what this is all about. And someone had asked on a video and it was during the time that I haven't been making videos, so I really didn't take the time to get back and respond really well. But someone said, hey, what is this that you're using up underneath when you're coloring? So I just wanted to show this to you guys. All this is it's a chopping board, a cutting board that you use in the kitchen. It's just plastic, and it's got a handle. It's got a single surface over here, just like a single colored surface, and then it's got more of a decorative surface here. I found this at Ross for $3.99, I believe, and I just use this when I'm like need something to sit in my lap if I'm coloring in, you know, on my sofa or anything like that. And it just gives me a hard surface, and that's what I use that for. And I have a review video up for Parku 36 color markers, and I didn't really color anything with those markers in that review, so I'm going to use those markers today, and we'll kind of see how they work. In case you haven't seen the review, this is 36 color Parku, P-A-R-K-O-O. They're pretty much like Sharpie style fine tip marker, so we'll see how these do. Nice little snap there. Check out the review video if you're kind of interested in these at all. I'm going to set these over to the side. That's what I'm going to use today. And I'm just going to go to the first image in the book. Like I said, very, very faint fine lines. He says to use a graphite pencil. I'm just going to use my drawing pen that I use when I need to like add lines and things like that to my drawing. It's just a needle drawing pen. It's by Superior. I believe this may be the pen that came with the, I can't think of the name of them, it's a marker set. Why can't I think of the name of them right now? I'm sure the name will come to me later. But you guys may know exactly what brand I'm talking about. I think I got a gnat flying around my desk. That's going to drive me batty. Hopefully it'll fly away. And, oh, the joys of living in the South. Okay, so let me see. If my head gets in the way any, I apologize, but yeah, see, I don't know that my hands are so shaky from my neurological issues that I have that drawing out the lines may not be like the best thing for me. And I guess I can draw out some of these lines and then not draw out some of these lines. And since I'm using such a dark black, even the lines that he drew, I'm going over those anyway. Because they're going to look kind of funny with a light gray against the black marker or the black pen. So you just kind of trace these out, and I'm not doing the little, you know, he said to use the shorter strokes. I'm not necessarily using those shorter strokes like he suggested because I am using a marker or a pen and not a pencil. And to be honest with me, if I start trying to draw those shorter stroke lines, I'm probably going to be a little shakier than if I just concentrate and do it this way. And again, that's because of the neurological issues that I have. My hands get very, very shaky. And I think that's kind of the idea, though, behind this book is that you can just kind of take it and do, you know, whatever feels right for you. And with my shaky hands, I'm not joking. That's why I'm so heavy-handed. Because it seems like the harder I push into the paper, the less shake my hand gives me. So I tend to be pretty heavy-handed. If I were tracing this out with a pencil, I'd probably be breaking leads, but that's kind of how I keep my hands a little more steady. And I'm not going to draw this whole thing because, I mean, truly, we'd be here until the cows came home. At least with me trying to trace this. But we'll get a little bit of it done so you can get an idea. Can you guys see that gnat? It keeps flying in front of me. It's driving me crazy. We have a lot of gnats here in the south, especially, this time of year. Savannah has a minor league baseball team, and I lived in the Savannah area for about 8 years. And I believe it's the New York Mets. I believe it's their minor league team. But they're located in Savannah, and they're called the Sand Gnats. And, that's so fitting because there's so many gnats in the South. I believe it's the New York Mets, their minor league team. Okay, so, I mean, you're getting the idea here, right? It's really neat, truly, because I think it's a neat way to, like, collaborate with the artist. I'm going to finish this flower up and then color some in. Okay, so that's the outline of one of the big flowers, one of the leaves, and then the smaller flower that's over here on top of that. That'll at least give you an idea of how to trace out the lines. I guess I shouldn't say how to trace out the lines. I'm sure you guys know how to trace, but it'll help you kind of see what we got going on here. Okay, so let me grab a green and go over, and these are the parkour markers. Let me put my paper in here before I mess up a page. There we go. I'll just kind of color this in. That way you guys can kind of see how these parkour markers lay down ink on a coloring page also. And like I said, check out the review for these. I filmed that just before this video, so they should go up pretty much at the same time. So they should both be on YouTube, within an hour or two of each other anyway. So you can take a look at that. they do lay down color really well, and I do like the colors that are in the set. Okay, and here's a leaf here that's not traced out, and I'll go over it so you can kind of see the way it would look, you know, without tracing the lines, like he had mentioned, where it just gives, you know, more of a feeling of just free color. Because once the ink goes down, it goes over that really fine gray line, and then you really can't see those lines anymore, pretty much at all. So it does give you more of a free color look, like you've just colored an image, like maybe just drew something as you colored it in. And I like that look when I see artists do that. Like I've seen some videos on YouTube of artists who will just color. Oh, I'm gonna have to let Riley in. He wanted to go out back to play, and he's been out there, and he's got the cutest little bark slash howl that he does, and he's kind of out there doing that right now. I'm gonna have to let him back in. It is pretty hot outside, so. Okay, and that's kind of how it's gonna look if you just go over it without tracing. Okay, and then this is the deeper yellow from the Parku set. Just go in here. Alright. Okay. Now I'll grab the lighter yellow to go in the center of this flower. There'll be links down below to Radu's, to this book, as well as his other books that he has available on Amazon. He has some really neat books. I really like his books. I truly enjoy coloring in them. Okay. Now, deciding what to do here, Okay. Alright, hold on guys. Let me let my little boogers in. Okay, nothing will make him happier than to be in mommy's lap right now, so we'll see how this works out. Let's see if I can hold him and color at the same time. When we're in our chair, where I color a lot, he just kind of, you know, curls up in my lap, and then I have my board here and my book. I'm kind of just laying on top of him, and he does okay. He just chills out with me. But he has the cutest little bark and howl that he does when he wants my attention and he doesn't feel like he's getting enough of it. Don't you, Boogs? Took me forever to name him. And I think he's about to get up here and try to get all up in our business. So, I don't know if he'll step all the way up on the desk or not. We'll see. And he is a curious little puppy, always wanting to know what's going on. And this is the first time that I've filmed anything other than little videos I took of him. So He's not used to Mom sitting at the desk and coloring and talking, and he can't figure out what's going on, so he's all excited because he hears me talk. I think he's wanting down now, maybe. You want down? Do you need down? Come on. There you go. Go lay down. He is so spoiled. He has a toy box that's full of toys. You can hear his little name tag hitting his glass water bowl while he's getting water. He's something else. He is already spoiled so much. I do like how bright these colors in these parkoos are. They have some really nice colors. Okay, that gives you an idea on that flower. I'll come over here and do this flower this little small flower, the same color as like the bigger flower was. That way you can kind of see again what it's like if you don't trace them out. And I think for some people, this is going to be a really, really neat book that they just absolutely adore, because there's probably so much you can do with this. I mean, you could take and trace these out in like glitter gel pen and then come in and color. So you could do that. That would look really neat. Like on the flowers, if you were to use, say, a dark pink glitter gel pen and then come in with the pink underneath, like the dark pink of the, and so the glitter would show through as your lines. That would look really good, I think. Okay, let me throw some color on this one. So yeah, you could do that. Yeah, you could trace with pencil, pen, your gel pens, any of those. So I think there's, you know, lots of different ways that this book could be used that would make some very, very interesting works of art. Just being really creative with that. There, see? Okay, so I said it, and now I gotta test the theory. Let's see. Here's a small flower down here. Just curious. This is my Color It gel pens. So I just kind of, and again, me and my bad shaky hands, so bear with me. I'm sure you guys could make this look so much better. I should have probably went around that circle with the yellow instead of the pink. Oh well. It'll at least give you guys an idea of what maybe gel pen would be like. And I don't know if Radu even thought of this, so he might want, you know, Radu has his own Facebook group, and he may want to play around with this and kind of show this to the people over in his Facebook group, because I think it's a neat little idea. We're about to see. All right, I'm gonna let this dry just a second so it gets a good so it's dry. Hold on, I think I'm gonna go around the inside, even though I already did that. I think go around just a little. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry and then we'll color that in. Okay, so just remember when you color, you know, if you do go in and do anything with gel pens, remember to let those gel pens dry before you go in and start like actually coloring anything in. That way it doesn't smear the gel pen. But let's see how this looks. What's the matter, Pup Duck? He went and got some water and he got choked. Okay, and then you just come in and color it and see what happens. So it's got a cute little pink outline, or purplish outline, instead of like a dark or whatever. And I mean, I think you could probably even paint your lines on, maybe with acrylic paints, glitter acrylic paints. There's all kinds of mediums I think you could probably incorporate with this book. I might actually like this book after all. I had thought I wasn't going to like this book because of these, you know, light lines, but it might be neat to do some with gel pen. It might be fun. You know, I don't think I would get more than maybe a half an image done before I had to take a break and give my eyes. But that's, you know, that stigmatism makes things look so blurry. And that was my only concern with this book, was how light they were. But yeah, I was just coloring along and I thought, I wonder what would happen if we maybe use gel pen instead of the other. I hope my lighting's okay. I've got my lights on and I didn't think to turn my side light on though, that I normally keep on when I video. Okay, and then come in with the yellow in the middle. Tell me what you think. See how pretty that is? Glittery. I think that's really neat. Because you can, you know, like I said, gel pen. I love gel pens. Okay, so there we have it. You, like I said, you can do it without the lines. You can do it with the lines. Do it in gel pen. I think that there's a lot of possibilities with this. You can do it in pencils. Yeah. So many different things to do. Thank you so much, Radu, for sending me this book to take a look at. Because, I mean, honestly, I was thinking this book would just not be for me because of those light lines. But, I mean, I think that's something that might be fun, you know, in little increments to work with. I think it would, you know, I think that's a great, I think it's a great concept. Excuse me. And I had never seen this up until Radu did this book. So thank you so much, Radu, for letting me take a stab at this book for you. I hope that you've enjoyed watching the review, and there's links below. Please go visit him on Amazon and purchase some of his books. They're really, really neat, great little books. And I think you guys would enjoy them. So there's links down below. Also, like I said, I used the 36 par cube alcohol-based fine tip markers. They're kind of like Sharpies. There's a review for these on the channel also, so take a look at that if you're interested in those. All the links are down below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. It was great to make a video and spend some time with you guys. So check us out over on the Facebook page. We're 450, 460 people, maybe even 470 now. So we have a great time over there. Got some great people. Link to the Facebook groups down below. And until next time, guys, peace, love, and happy coloring. Bye, guys.